Welcome to the Cortex Learning blog. This is tutorial 6 of 9, CESA 2 Input Basics. We're going to begin here where we left off at part 5 of 9 in the middle of creating a model. What we want to do in this tutorial is to show you how to create a bend. One of the important things to note is that bends are dimensioned to tangent points. They are also defined, or they can only be defined, on the element entering the bend. This is one of the few times in CESA 2, perhaps the only time, where the direction of coding is important. The other important thing to note is that the two elements which contain the bend must be contiguous. In other words, they must fall one after the other in the input. And the reason for this is that the layout of these two elements, the before and the after element, they define the bend angle. Let's have a look at how CESA 2 numbers bends and considers bends. On the left-hand side, we have the model input. In this case, we're coding two elements, element 30 to 40 and 40 to 50. In line with the CESA 2 convention, we're going to code from 30 to 40 first, and then from 40 to 50. We will include a bend on the first element, 30 to 40. CESA 2 will then interpret this by adding some additional nodes. The first thing it does is to move element 40 to the far end of the bend. It then adds another node at the start of the bend and a third node in the middle at half the bend angle. Okay, so let's go on to the model and continue where we picked off and start coding for our bend. I'll do it first up the wrong way by not including a bend on the element, and we'll just see how this works, and then we can come back and fix it. Okay, so what we will do is to add a new element here that'll go off in the -x direction. Hit the continue key, the button, and define the length of the next element, which will be minus 1050 millimeters. And notice that's all I've done here. I haven't defined a bend, and you'll see that the graphic shows a rather ugly representation of what's going on, and it certainly doesn't have a bend at node number 40. So let's go back to element 30 to 40 and put a bend on element number 40. Simply click the bend, double click, and lo and behold, we get a nice looking graphic that shows that the bend has been included. So let's just review the data that is required for the bend. In the auxiliary field, we'll see on the bend element that we have, we can choose the radius. We can actually type in a radius here, or we can choose long radius, short radius, or a number of other alternatives. You can choose a type. This basically just relates to stiffening. We can have a single flange type or a double flange type, and that'll just create different stiffnesses of flange. The third part of the input screen relates to the two additional nodes that I described CESA 2 adding. You'll notice here that the first one is at angle M, which means middle of the bend, and it's inserted at node number 19. And at angle number 0, it's inserted at node number 18. The last data fields are associated with miter bends and fitting thicknesses. For example, if your bend has a thicker wall thickness than the pipe. Next, we'll go on to consider reducers and tees.